Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. This is C.P. McGregor saying hello again and welcome to our Hollywood Theater of Stars. Each week, as we bring you the diverse talents of the Cinema City's dazzling array of stars, we try to find just the right story, the vehicle with which to display the widest possible scope of versatility. And so this week, we have chosen for our star a play in which I am sure she will find herself perfectly at home. Her name is Gail Page. Her role is that of Maxine Wilkins, an ambitious girl from a little town who went to Hollywood. The title of our story is Hollywood Turnabout. And now, just before the curtain goes up, here's a word from your announcer. The curtain rises on Act One of Hollywood Turnabout, starring Gail Page in the role of Maxine Wilkins. Hollywood, that wonderful, insane, madcap place of make-believe, of millionaire appetites and 10-cent pocketbooks, of glamour girls, screwballs, big shots, little shots, and half shots, of good ideas, bad ideas, and other people's ideas, of Russian counts from Brooklyn, of dreams, desires, and heartbreaks. Yes, Hollywood, the home of the Coconut Grove, Ciro's, Lucy's, and of course the Brown Derby. And just to give you an idea, a very brief idea, let's take a walk down Vine Street, just off the fabulous Hollywood Boulevard. The equally fabulous Brown Derby. The time is about noon.
And so you know what I done? I laughed his face. Just like that, I laughed and I says to him, look, wise guy, I was in pictures when you was just a twinkle in your papa's eye. And I ain't touching a job for less than $2,000 a week. That's what I said.
I'm telling you, Ronald, the studios are trying to type me. That's why I turned down the picture. I refuse to be typed. I'm a versatile actor, not a...
Now, listen, Gertrude, I'm speaking as an agency, and I'm telling you we don't want any part of their $500 a week stuff. It's $1,000 a week on a year's contract, or we don't play.
Yeah, but how am I going to pay my rent and eat? I could do with that $500 a week.
Listen, Gertie, what's a couple of weeks waiting, huh? That $500 a week they're offering you is nothing but chicken.
And so it goes, any day, every day in Hollywood. Money, 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 tons of it, scads of it, only nobody's got any. Everybody's kidding everybody else, and everybody's just kidding themselves. But now, to change the scene again, we travel nearly halfway across the nation to a little homey, comfortable town in Iowa named Fairview. The city fathers of Fairview are sponsoring a bathing beauty contest. The audience is tensed and hushed from the dramatic moment has just arrived. Mayor Tuckett is just about to announce the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have here in my hand the final verdict of the judges. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present this Silver Loving Cup, this round-trip ticket to Hollywood, this order for a screen test at Catamount Studios, to our own beautiful and charming little girl of Fairview, Miss Dawson County, whose real name is Miss Maxine Wilkins.
Richard, isn't it simply wonderful that our own daughter should win the beauty contest? And a trip to Hollywood and a screen test as well?
Hmm?
Richard, you're not listening to a thing I'm saying.
Yes, I am, but I've read this same paragraph here in the paper 20 times, and I still don't know what it says.
Just to think that our own Maxine is going to be a picture star.
I mean, Maxie's going to be what?
A picture star, a picture star. Stop calling her Maxie. Her name's Maxine.
I've been calling her Maxie ever since she was named. I see no reason to stop. What makes you think Maxie's going to be a picture star?
She won the contest, didn't she? She's going to go to Hollywood, isn't she? And she's going to have a screen test at Catamount Studios, isn't she?
Well?
Well? Oh, Richard, you're so exasperating at times. And so short-visioned. Anybody think you hadn't the slightest interest in your own daughter?
I've got a great deal of interest in my daughter, which doesn't include her skedaddling off to Hollywood by herself to become a giddy movie star.
She's not going off to Hollywood by herself in the first place, Richard.
No? Who's she going with?
With us, of course.
Us? Mother, have you lost your mind?
Well, of course not. And besides, I've always wanted to see Hollywood anyway. Oh, do you think for a moment that I'd let Maxine go clear out there without us to look after her?
Did Maxie win 2 round-trip tickets for us by any chance?
Well, of course not.
Well, then, I fail to see
Oh,
but...
you're always failing to see, Richard. We've got $3,000 that you got on your insurance.
What?
Of course.
For heaven's sake, Mother, you're not thinking of using that money to go to Hollywood on, are you?
Well, what else?
You know darn well I was planning to use that money to buy that little shack up on Lake Meredith so's we could have some place to go in the stifling heat of the summer.
I know. But, Richard, since Maxine won the beauty contest, it's our duty to do everything in our power to help her along in her career. And we'll just have to sacrifice the cottage.
Martha, sometimes I think...
What?
Oh, never mind what I think. It wouldn't make any difference anyway.
Well, now that we have observed the peaceful calm and serenity of the Wilkins domicile, supposing now we meander down Elm Street to where the arc lights is sputtering and hissing like a nest of angry snakes, and then up Main Street about halfway to the drugstore. This is where George Crandall works for Mr. Doolittle in the capacity of soda jerk. George is the steady boyfriend of Maxine, Miss Dawson County, that is. She's just entering the store now.
Hello, George.
Hiya, Maxie. Gee, congratulations on getting the beauty contest prize. Mr. Doolittle was in a little while ago, and he was telling me about it. Gosh, I bet you're thrilled, huh?
Oh, well, maybe a little.
Gosh, I'd be thrilled if I won a beauty contest. Imagine me winning a beauty contest. Well, what are you going to have, Maxie? You want me to make you up one of my special banana splits?
Oh, no, I think I'll just have a lemon phosphate, George. Now that I'm going to Hollywood, I've got to watch my figure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mr. Doolittle did say something about you going to get tickets to Hollywood and a screen test.
Mm-hmm. Catamount Studios.
Are you really going to go, Maxie?
Well, sure I'm going to go. Don't think I'd pass up a chance to be a movie star, do you?
Oh, here's your lemon phosphate.
Thanks. Well, aren't you glad I'm going, George? I mean, well, a girl doesn't get a chance to be a movie star every day in the week, you know.
Oh, I guess you don't. Well, when do you think you'll go?
Friday. Take the train to Des Moines, and then I'll change trains there for Hollywood. Going to have a compartment, too.
Yeah? See, that's swell.
George, you don't look as if you thought so.
Why, yeah, I do. I think it's swell, all right. I was just thinking.
What about?
Well, Friday night's the prom, and I asked Mr. Doolittle for the night off, and I got it, but...
Oh, my goodness, George, you're not going to get sore about me not going to the prom with you because I'm going to Hollywood. After all, a girl doesn't get a chance to become a movie star every day in the week.
Gosh, no, that's right. She don't.
After Maxine left, exactly 1 hour and 42 minutes went tottering around the cracked and yellow face of the ancient mahogany clock in Mr. Doolittle's cluttered drugstore. And George's spirits were dropping lower than petunias in a drought. He was gloomily taking ineffective swipes at the dull, battered nickel of his ice cream freezers when his unhappy meditation was interrupted by another customer. This time it was Maxine's pa, Mr. Wilkins.
Hiya, George.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilkins.
I just sort of dropped in, thinking I might find Maxie here. She ain't here, huh?
No, she left quite a while ago, Mr. Wilkins. She said she's going home.
Uh-huh. Give me an orange pop, will you, George?
Sure. Yeah, just put some on ice. I don't know how cold it'll be.
Oh, that's all right. I suppose you know about Maxie going to Hollywood, hey, George?
Yeah, she was telling me about it. Sure is swell, isn't it?
Dad blamed if I know, George. I should think you'd be a mite worried about it. Having her going rampaging out there amongst all them sleek-haired gigolos and such.
Well,
You know, George, I was thinking. Mother and me are going with her out there. Oh, it wasn't my idea, but we're going. And I was thinking, how'd you like to go, too?
oh, well, gee, Mr. Wilkins, I'd like it a heap, but I got as much of a chance of going to Hollywood as I have to becoming the next president.
Look, George, I got a couple of $3,000 on my insurance that I was saving to buy me a shack up on Lake Meredith, the one I was telling you about.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. But Mother's dead set on us going to Hollywood with Maxie. So, as long as I've got to spend the $3,000, there ain't no reason why you couldn't go along with us.
Gee whiz, Mr. Wilkins.
I've already talked to Doolittle about giving you a leave of absence, so it's all set. If you want to go.
Well, I'd like it all right, Mr. Wilkins, but, I couldn't let you...
Fish and fodder water, George. If you're worrying about the money, forget it. Someday when you get rich, you can pay me back. And you'd better get yourself rounded up tomorrow morning first thing. Train leaves Friday at 12:32.
There are lots of people waiting for us. Oh, Mother, Daddy, we've arrived. George, aren't you thrilled to death? We're in Hollywood.
That sign on the station says we're in Glendale.
Pardon me, you Miss Maxine Wilkins?
Yes, sir.
How do you do, Miss Wilkins? My name's Joseph Ferber. I'm representative of Catamount Studios. You look this way, please. We get some pictures. Here's some flowers for you.
Oh.
All right, boys, start shooting.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
I'm Maxine's mother, and you can't take pictures quite yet. Father hasn't got his coat on. Father, put your coat on.
Why?
The curtain falls in the first act of Hollywood Turnabout, starring Gail Page. In just a moment, you'll hear Act 2. But first, a few words from your announcer. And now again the curtain goes up, and here's Act 2 of Hollywood Turnabout, starring Gail Page. Well, this morning the famous super chief with the Wilkins family plus George Crandall aboard steamed into Glendale Station. And what a reception there was for Maxine. As usual, Hollywood turned it on big and did it up brown. Mother bridled like a proud, broody hen with one chick. Father looked glum and wished he was back in Fairview. And George didn't look anything. He just looked blank. After all the goings-on at the Glendale station, everybody went pell-mell behind screaming motorcycles to the great Ambassador Hotel. Now, the Wilkins family is upstairs in a luxurious suite. Maxine is in a terrible tizzy.
Oh, Mother, help me fix my dress. Does it look all right? Oh, Mother, I'm nervous. I could scream. Do you think they'll like me? Do you think I'll be a success? Do you think I'll be a movie star? Mother, do you really think so? Really?
If you keep that up, you'll be a nervous breakdown.
You just leave the poor girl alone, Richard. After all, you'd be nervous, too, if you were going to be a glamour girl and have a screen test.
I wouldn't be nervous. I'd be abnormal.
How does my hair look? Does it look all right, Mother, on this side? Mother, oh...
Richard, don't sit there with your shoes off. Go see who's at the door, and don't shout, come in.
I don't see what difference it makes so long as we get the idea over.
Mother, I'm afraid I'm just going to simply die when they give me that screen test. I'll positively die. I know it. I know
Calm
it.
yourself, my pet. Who is it, Richard?
It's nobody, just George.
Oh, hello, George.
Hello, Miss Wilkins. Hello, Maxie.
Hello, George.
Gee, but don't you look the hot stuff, though? Wowee.
Oh, George, that's no way to talk hot stuff. Just because a girl puts on a new dress and fixes her hair differently...
I brought these for you. I got them downstairs in the flower shop.
Oh, George. Violets for me. Oh, George, that was sweet.
Well, gee, it wasn't anything. They only cost 35 cents. The lady says they're usually 50, but she let me have these for 35 on account of their yesterdays. This one's wilted them.
Richard?
I'm going, Mother. I'm going.
You're going to have your screen test today, huh, Maxie?
Mm-hmm. You mustn't talk to me too much or I'll get fussed. Honestly, George, I was never so nervous in my whole life. Never. Even when I was in a high school play, I wasn't as nervous as this.
I'd kind of like to see a screen test, Maxie. Can I go with you?
Why, of course you can't, George. They won't even let me go, and I'm her mother.
And besides, it'd make me nervous to have somebody watching me. Why, I'd die.
Richard, who is it?
I don't know. Some kid all dressed up like an admiral in the Swiss Navy. He brought this for Maxie.
For me, Dad?
Oh, Gee whiz, look at that box.
For mercy sakes to goodness. Maxine, open it and see what it is.
Oh, what a beautiful box. Oh, and I can't get the ribbon untied.
Wait a minute. I got a pocket knife.
Oh, we don't cut the ribbon, Dad. We open it.
Well, then, open it.
Oh, I'm trying.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Flowers.
Is that what that is?
What kind are they?
Well, I don't know, but look at them.
Hey, I know what those are. They're orchids. Huh? They're orchids. I saw one in a glass case up at Des Moines exhibition last summer. I remembered what they looked like.
Orchids. Gee, just imagine for me.
Open the card, dear, and see who they're from.
Yes. To little Miss Maxine from Joseph Ferber, Catamount Studios. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh, Mother, help me pin them on.
Well, I wonder where they go. On your waist like a bouquet?
I don't
Ask
know.
me, she should carry them in her left hand.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. Wasn't that terribly sweet of Mr. Ferber? And I'll bet they cost a lot, too.
Yeah. In Des Moines, they said orchids cost about $10 a piece.
Poor George. It's pretty hard to compete with orchids, particularly with just a little bouquet of purple violets, isn't it? Well, the big shining car finally arrived, and away went Miss Dawson County to Culver City and Catamount Studios. And right now, there she is on set 6. Cameras and camera booms, producers, directors, assistant directors, and assistant to the assistant directors. Poor Maxine. She's scared stiff, and no wonder. It's organized confusion, that's what it is.
All right, quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. Quiet. Quiet. Okay, turn them over.
Speed.
Mark it.
Scene 1, screen test, stage 5, Maxine Wilkins.
We're extremely sorry, Miss Wilkins, that although your test was okay, we are unable to place you in any picture at the moment. However, later on, possibly, there might be an opportunity for you.
Confidentially, Miss Wilkins, what you need to do is change your name. Get yourself an agent. Put on some front. You know, flash like you was somebody and you'd be a
And so it goes in the dazzling show business of Hollywood. It's the old technique, J5, that breaks a lot of hearts and sends a lot of would-be geniuses back to where they came from. But not the Wilkins family. Oh, no. Mama's got her dander up. She has an unshakable faith in one day seeing Maxine's name up in lights and her footprints in the immortal cement of Grauman's Chinese Theater. Right now, in their Ambassador Hotel suite, mother, father, and daughter are holding a council of war.
Dad, it's the only thing to do. Now, there's an advertisement for a house up in Beverly Hills, and it's got a swimming pool, a tennis court, and a 3-car garage, and it's only $300 a month.
And what'll we do? Live in the 3-car garage and rent the house out?
Well, of course not. And I saw the cutest Rolls Royce at a used car place, and they only want $400 for it.
What year is it?
1916, but it looks just like new, and it's hardly ever been run. That's what the man said.
Probably nobody could afford to run.
Now, Father, you just stop annoying Maxine that way. If all these things are imperative to her success in pictures, then we'll just have to do it, and that's all.
I want to go back to Fairview.
Richard?
Well, if you'd just seen what George and me just saw on Hollywood Boulevard, so would you. Some woman in pants and a meek coat leading 3 sheepdogs. Some old man with a long white beard wearing a nightgown walking around barefooted. I'm telling you, Mother, people around here are crazy.
They don't have to be crazy, Mr. Wilkins, but they say it certainly helps. Well, Dad and George, being on the losing team, decided that if they had to stay in Hollywood, there was no sense in just sitting around Griffith Park feeding the pigeons. And so one day they caught that snappy yellow bus that runs out to the beach of Santa Monica. And what they did out there was simply scandalous, or it will be when Mother hears about it.
Yes, sir, George, like I was saying. I think we've got something. Buying that orangeade stand was a doggone good idea. As long as we got to stay out here.
We'll probably make some money. After all, just think of the tourists that come out here and drink orangeade. Why, we did it.
Is that you, Richard?
Yes, it's me and George, Mother. we've got some news for you.
Of course, Richard. But first, you're to run out and pick up Maxine at the studios. She's gotten herself another screen test. This time out to Colossal.
Uh-huh. But I started to tell you that George and me, we've bought an orangeade stand down in Santa Monica.
Oh, of course, dear, of course. That's wonderful. But hurry along now and go get Maxine. The poor girl will be waiting for you.
Oh, all right. Come on, George. You'll have to drive. I can't run that throbbing monster.
And hurry, Richard, hurry. My goodness, if I wasn't eternally after that man, he'd... Orangeade stand.
I don't care if your daughter is in there. You can't go in this gate unless you've got to pass.
Oh, I can't I? Well, you take your hand off my sleeve, you flannel-mouthed store dummy, before I lose my temper. I'm supposed to meet my daughter in this studio, and I'm going to do it. George and me've got to get back to our orangeade stand, and we're not going to argue with you. Are we, George?
I'll say we're not. We got to fix up our orangeade stand.
Well, let me tell you a thing or two, me fine friend. I've stood just about all I'm going to stand. And if I were you...
Riley. Wait a minute. Say, what's your name?
Who, mine or his?
Yours.
It's Wilkins, if it's any of your business. And now, as far as you're concerned, you dressed-up imitation of a policeman,
Hey, what's the trouble here, Riley?
Well, you see, sir, this one here insists that he's coming into the studios.
Well, of course he's coming into the studios. Here, you come right ahead. Both of you.
Well, all right, I'll sign the contract, providing you make George here my fall-in.
Your what?
My fall-in. You know, like I've seen him do in the studios.
Oh, you mean your stand-in.
Oh, well, whatever it is. But George has got to be it so he can marry my daughter.
Well, I think we'll be able to fix that up, Mr. Wilkins. And now, if you'll sign the contract.
Father, what on earth are you talking about?
Yes, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the plain and simple fact that I guess you two will have to run George's and my orangeade stand on account of George and me are in pictures. They're going to pay me $500 a week on a year's contract.
Merciful heavens, Richard. You've been drinking.
Not a drop, I swear it. And now you'd better come along with me, Mother. I'm going up to Hollywood Boulevard and buy me one of them checkered sport coats and a pair of slacks and one of them shirts that you don't have to wear no tie.
George.
Yeah, Maxie?
George, I'm sorry about those violets you gave me. They were awfully pretty, George. I really didn't think that Joseph Ferber was such a much. George, I've always been in love with you.
I've always been in love with you, too, Maxie. Now that I got a job, we can get married, huh?
Mm-hmm. And, George, sometime when you're working in pictures, can I come out and watch you?
The curtain falls in the final act of Hollywood Turnabout, starring Gail Page. I'll return on stage in just a moment to tell you about next week's star and play. But first, here's something important from your announcer. Thank you, Gail, for a very convincing portrayal of the girl who won her boy, lost him, and then won him again by failing her screen test. Yes, you can see that Hollywood is a place where anything can and usually does happen. Anyway, Gail, I sincerely hope that only fine things continue to happen in your successful screen career. We'll be looking forward to an early return visit from you. And now, Gail and ladies and gentlemen, I see that I must hurry along with your listening reminder for next week. Lynn Merrick will be our star, and the title of our play, Something Borrowed, Something Blue. If you knew what was borrowed and what turned a murder scarf blue, you would know the answer to one of the most exciting mystery plays you've ever heard. There are 30 full minutes of action-packed drama, so be sure to join us next week for Something Borrowed, Something Blue, starring Lynn Merrick. Till next week, then, this is C.P. McGregor saying thanks for listening and cheerio from Hollywood.